So I've been working on this header to try to get it shortened up and in a better position to get around the steering box, and I think I've gotten it. We're about to find out. It's not looking too shabby. I believe that this area right here is what's going to be going around the steering box, and I have this I have all the pipes going into one, which is pretty cool. So let's try to fit this thing. We'll try to fit this thing in the car. I'm gonna put the screws in and tighten down these pieces to hold everything together, and fingers crossed, guys, this header will be set up, I'm hoping. So I got the header figured out. It fits pretty nice. I just kind of smoothed this out a little bit. I'm gonna throw some paint on it, and this header's done. The other header's got to be shortened about 1.5 inches, 2 inches tops. So I'm gonna get to the other header. Meanwhile, what I've run into is, let me get my chair. The carburetor on this engine sits sideways, so the linkage is right here and it rotates this way. Well, the throttle goes this way, so I'm turning this bracket so I can mount the carburetor a regular way, but the bolt, two of the bolt holes don't match up, so I'm gonna have to re-drill or something this piece so I can at least get that carburetor facing where I can hook up some linkage to it. I don't know why they run them sideways. I guess I'll figure it out if it goes south, if you know what I mean. So, all right, got to get to it. So, since I've got to do some modifications to this intake, I am going to remove the intake from the engine because I don't want any of those shavings to contaminate, get inside my engine. And it'll give me the opportunity to remove the header and go ahead and shorten it up. Wish me luck, guys. All right, here's the plan. I'm going to cut 1 3/4 out of here, and up here. And that should be able to tighten up that header with, I'm hoping, minimal tweakage, and get that together, and we'll get it back in the car. So I've got the rear header kind of mocked up. I've got this is conduit. It's 1 1/4 conduit connectors. I'm using it to connect these headers together. So I have taken this much out of the header, shortened it up, and this one met pretty good, so I'm just welding that piece up. But it's just mocked up at the moment. I'm going to test fit this and make sure everything's okie dokie. Oh my gosh, it is perfect. Yes, it's like the same exact height of the other one. Oh yeah, it's beautiful, guys. This is beautiful. I might have to send these headers off to get copied for someone else, because I'm not gonna use these headers, but for, you know, temporary, because I can't use these headers with, or I'm not planning on using these headers with the turbo. So I'm gonna buy some cast iron headers for the turbo, because I'll probably have less leaks, and they're going to be shorter. They're going to end up just like I don't know, 14-16 inches from the head, which is going to give me more room for the exhaust to route it, I don't know, possibly forward. Maybe I'll have a turbo straight up in front of the radiator. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, so let me pull these headers out, or the rear one at least. The front one might be able to stay, and finish welding it up. It's beautiful. It's like perfect. I can't believe it. So the headers, intake, and carburetor installed. I figured out why they have these carburetors turned the other way. It's because they're going to perform better. But for today, I'm going to run it like this, and all I've got to do is hook up the throttle. Well, it's funny. I've got a carburetor sitting over here on the floor, and this is the linkage off of it. It's a Ford carburetor, and look at this. It basically hooks right up. So I need to put a cotter pin. Look at that. Perfect. So I've got to put a cotter pin over there, and I've got a little lock that needs to go over here. And I'll crank this thing up and see how it runs. I would love to hook up the muffler like 2-in-1. We'll see if I have enough time to do that, but for right now that's looking pretty good, guys. Alright, let's get this hooked up. A washer and then a cotter pin. Here. Washer and cotter pin. Alright, so there we go. Okay, so there's idle. Let's see if the throttle works. Oh yeah, that is fantastic. Great. Alright, gotta do something with this choke. Battery. Crank up. Okay, I ran to the store and got me a fuel filter because I know I need it for this. I got me an air breather, Mr. Gasket. Cheap, cheap, cheap. And I went to the local parts store and I got some street sneaker, old stock glass packs. I figured the glass packs would go on here a lot easier, have a bit more ground clearance than mufflers. I really wanted some Flowmasters on here because, I mean, Flowmasters sound so good. But these glass packs are going to work just fine, and I'm sure they'll hide whatever exhaust leaks I've got from my welding on the headers, so they'll be fine, right? So let's get this stuff installed. Try to fire this thing up and see how it sounds. I hope it's going to sound good. Let Look like the accelerator pump's working on it. It's a brand new carburetor. This thing might be out of gas.
It's gotta be.
Alright. Well, this thing's way quieter than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it's going. Alright, so I put more fuel in it and yeah, I don't think that's the issue, so we'll try again.